Hello, Jordan here for a Christian Patriots moment. I want to take this time to speak to our youth, and let's consider what we can find from 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 12. Let no one look down on your youthfulness, but rather in speech, conduct, love, faith, purity. Show yourself an example of those who believe. We think about the youth. This scripture is very critical because it's telling the youth, you still have a lot of things that you can do for God's kingdom, and you can also make a positive impact for the communities around you, but also for our nation and our world as well. Let's take a moment for a second and think about King Josiah. We learn about him from 2 Kings chapter 22. King Josiah was only 8 years old when he took the throne, when he took the reins of the kingdom in Jerusalem at this time. And again, 2 Kings chapter 22. And this young man was so full of wisdom. At this time, we had the book of the law, the ancient book of the law that had been written for the ancient Israelites, had actually gone missing, and the whole world, or I should say, the whole nation of Israel had become so corrupted at that time. But they finally found, in the time of his kingdom, they found the book of the law. And at 8 years old, when they found that book, he had actually tore his clothes in remorse that they had not been following God and following His commands. This day and age, we need youth to stand up, and you have so much of a role that you can play. In our great awakenings that we consider throughout history, our nation had been born out of a great awakening. Back in the 1830s, we had a second one, and we also had other great awakenings throughout the throughout the 1800s, and also into the early part of the 1900s as well. We had great spiritual awakenings that brought our nation back to God, and many people in our nation back to God, but also brought our nation back into a focus to God as well. And it really brought our freedom. It really inspired and helped to create a culture for freedom. The First Great Awakening actually prepared our nation for independence from Great Britain. As we consider these great awakenings, we look back, and the youth had a key integral part in fostering and inspiring these great awakenings. One of them was actually started as some young folks grew together at a college campus. Some young folks came together in prayer, and it caused that entire college to have a revival. And that actually sparked a great awakening at this time too. This was back in the 1800s, I believe, the late 1800s. But we think about King Josiah and think about his wisdom and what he did for ancient Israel. He reigned for 31 years. And of course, we don't have to be a king. We can, in our world around us today, the young folks, it doesn't matter if you're 10, 15, 20, the teenagers we have around us. What you've got to do is you've got to commit yourself to Christ and have Him work through you. And it'll make a huge impact for the nation, for your communities, for your families, and for your churches and your youth groups as well. So we want to take this moment, and we're also going to do some more videos on talking a little bit more specifically about how you youth can be able to make a huge impact, and what we need to do specifically as far as committing ourselves to Christ, and then also being able to take that and making a positive impact. Thank you so much for your attention today, and be looking out for some more videos, particularly ones regarding the youth, as we're talking about that this afternoon. Thank you. Have a blessed day.